Rock and roll crazy nights. You are the heroes tonight. Rock and roll crazy nights. You are the hero. Rock and roll crazy nights. You are the heroes tonight. Let's do this. Okay. So we are going to start today's extravaganza. We are going to start it with something crazy. Something crazy. And we're going to do that as soon as we have 7 viewers. Right now we have 3. We need 4 more to get something crazy happening. Something crazy going down. Rock and roll crazy nights. You are the heroes tonight. Yeah, yeah. All right, the first coffee is down. We are on to the beverage of the evening. We are ready to rock this town. But I need 7 viewers. I need 7 people watching to do the crazy stunt. There's Scott Carson. How are you to this evening, my friend? I need 7 people. 7 people, and then we will do the crazy thing. The crazy thing we will do at 7 people. So I got this mask. This bandana is my mask. I really don't know what to believe anymore, what to think. I will wear this if I have to go out to a store. But Jen's been doing all the store shopping for us. She has her own... Man, this is hard to breathe through. Fuck, it's hot in this thing. We are at 6 people. No, Scott, that is not Iron Brew. That is Tim Hortons peach juice. We just got back from Tim Hortons. But yeah, like, I don't know if this is... this does anything or not. I mean, it's hard to breathe in. Hey, Kevin, mister, do you like my... Do you like what I got going on here? This is my 2020 getup, I guess. We got 5 people. We got 5 people. Once we hit 7 people, then something crazy is going to happen. Something crazy. What's it going to be? I don't know. Well, yeah, I do know. I can't tell you, though. Not until we hit 7 people. Oh, we're at 6. We got 6 people, Jen. We got 6 people. As soon as we hit 7, we're doing this. Hello, Michael Morwood. How are you? I hope you are enjoying your day off. Michael Morwood works at a store in Canada called Giant Tiger, and he has been working 6 days a week. We're at 7 people. Let's rock and roll. Let's do this. All right. Rock and roll crazy nights. You are the heroes tonight. Rock and roll crazy nights. You are the heroes. So, in my COVID video number 5, I said I was going to do something crazy. And I said something that you haven't seen since Ozzy Osbourne. Something you haven't seen since Britney Spears. Now, did that give you a clue as to what is happening here? What did Ozzy Osbourne and Britney Spears do when they had their meltdowns? They shaved their heads. Now, I'm not lame. I'm not going to shave my head live on Facebook as a stunt. I'm going to get Jen to do it because she's never done it before to anybody. Ha ha!
Well, I did try once shaving my head with a lady Bic, but that was stupidity, and my dad took me to a barber to get it fixed.
Let's do this! Let's do this! Maybe put a towel on the ground behind me too, just to...
Alright, turn that off so it doesn't cross my head.
Might be a good idea.
Alright, this is not going to go well.
No, it is not going to go well at all. It is not. It is not going to... She's never done this. She's never even held these before. Alright.
Alright, turn it off while I grab it. Honey, this isn't going to go well. Okay, so... Do I go this way?
Yep.
Holy crap. This is not going to go well.
They know. That's why they're watching.
Oh my god. Oh, yuck.
What's yuck? What's yucky? Don't get hair on the leaf blanket, says Chris.
I know, that's... Ugh.
Oh, you don't like... Oh, I see.
You needed to shower earlier.
I think I'm in shit.
For what?
I don't know. I think I'm telling them that I'm in shit from you.
Okay, well, I'm going to turn this off. Maybe wearing glasses might be useful.
Might not be a bad...
You just... you with your dirty hair. Okay, you're going to have to finish this.
Oh my god! Look what she's done! Oh my god! Look what she's done! Oh my god! Okay, guys, this is already off the rails. This is already completely off the rails. Off the rails completely. She's given up already. We're fucked. We're totally fucked now.
Okay, with a lot of apologies, I'll try again, but I think you're doing a better job than I ever could.
She just said, with a lot of apologies, she'll try again, but she thinks I'm doing a better job than she ever could. I am not sure if that is true or not. It's up to you. Do you want to try?
What do your fans want me to do?
Kevin Semister says, looks perfect. Scott Peddle says, anything for Facebook likes. Shameless. I don't know. It's up to you. Like, if you feel like you can grab a hold of these clippers and take this hair off my head, then you go right ahead. If not, I'll just continue doing what I'm doing.
Oh, you know what? You're probably better at it than I am.
She started this, and now I gotta finish it.
What can I say? I'm an evil
Chris says, looks good just like that. The Facebook stunt goes off the rails immediately. Immediately! Alright. What we're going to do here... the hair is just floating all over my face. What we're going to do here is I'm going to take the last few big chunks off, clean up a little bit, and then Jen's going to finish by tidying up what's left.
Okay, because I'm not tidying up this floor.
No, that's mine. Yes, I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that. The left side's always harder than the right side because I'm right-handed. I think we're there, more or less. More or less. There's still some tufts at the top. Feels great. My head feels air conditioned now. My head feels air conditioned now. Jennifer has given up, but she might return to do some tidying. Okay, give me a couple minutes to clean myself up. That was the crazy stunt we had lined up. Oh, you know what? There's still a tuft. Maybe I should just leave that tuft.
I have no idea. I thought it was hard enough to shave my legs.
I don't know if you guys could hear what Jen just said, but she said she thought it was hard enough just to shave her legs. Not bad. Not bad for a Facebook stunt. Not terrible. I've seen worse. All right, hang on. We'll be back. Okay, so all of this will get washed. No problem.
Okay. Well, I tried. Did you want me to try and tidy you up, or?
Oh, not necessary.
Okay.
I'm just going to take all the...
And you want to dust off your back, too?
I'm just going to take the shirt off, and you're going to get me a clean shirt. Get me a clean shirt is all I need.
Actually, it'll be the one over there. It'll be clean shirts. There you go. Oh no, that's clean underwear. I found a shirt for you. It's Helix. I'll put a clean one on afterwards.
Hey, hey! Thanks for hanging in there. There's still some bits and pieces, and there's going to be hair in my area here forever. But that was the stunt for tonight. Pubes are next, says Kevin Semister.
Yeah, that's all your job. I'm not going anywhere near there. I've been married for over a decade.
We got lots of patches. Okay, so if you folks are ready, we'll get back to the music, back to the rock and roll.
Have fun with that.
Tonight, we are going to be looking at the complete discography of a beloved metal band. Can't blame Jennifer Ladano. Your head looks like a relief map of the Andes Mountains. Thanks a lot, Scott. All right. So we are going to be going over the complete discography of a beloved metal band. I believe Harrison Kopp already figured this one out. But if you guys want to drop some guesses in the comments. I've got all the albums sitting right over here. We're going to be going from the first album to the most recent. We're going to be doing pretty much everything official that I own. We're not going to be worrying about semi-official stuff. Any guesses who the band is? Look at all the hair, man. You can see it floating around. Any guesses who the band is? Come on, let's get some guesses. Some guesses before we start. I hope you like this band. Why don't Oh. Sarah nailed it, first guest. All right, why don't we get the albums? We'll start. Here's some of them. Here's some more of them. We're doing Judas Priest. Kevin Smister, good guess with the Maiden. But I wanted to do a band that we have not covered in full on my site. That being Judas Priest. So, we will start with the very first album. Look at all the hair. Can you see the hair flying in front of my face here? My God. Rock-a-Rolla. Rock-a-Rolla, the first Judas Priest album, featuring the lineup. Rob Halford. I remember on the vinyl he was credited as Bob Halford. K.K. Downing, lead guitar. Glenn Timpton, guitar, synthesizer, and backup vocals. John Hinch on drums. He was on one album. And Ian Hill, bass guitarist, and still in this band today, the forgotten member Ian Hill. This album was produced by Roger Bain, came out in 1974 on Gull Records. This is one of the album covers. This is what I call the football player album cover. There was another album cover that had a Coca-Cola Coca-Cola bottle cap on it. That is the original cover art. This is a reissue. All I see is hair or dust flying around. Yeah, it's hair, man. There's a lot of it. Yep. The things I will do for Facebook likes. This album's a bit bluesier than the pure metal that we got from Priest, but there's a few good rockers. The wind is blowing all kinds of things around. I got the window open. We've got a few good rockers on this album. One for the Road, the opening track. Then we got Rock-a-Rolla. And the Winter Suite, which is like a 10-minute, strange 10-minute suite of tracks that ends with a blitz called Cheater. Rob Halford threatening his cheating bitch with a gun in the lyrics. A couple bluesy tracks, Never Satisfied, Run of the Mill, Dying to Meet You. Caviar and Meths is a kind of a neat little outro. Sort of a ballady, psychedelic outro. It's not the greatest album they ever made, obviously. Very few bands hit their stride on the first album, but there's some prototypical Priest on here. Most notably, one for the Road and Rock-a-Rolla that I think are worth your attention today. Second, 1976... we get up to Sad Wings. This album is a fucking corker. This is a 10 out of 10. This is when Priest hit their stride. Incidentally, the Angel is wearing a necklace. You can't see that very well, but the necklace that the Angel is wearing is the cross logo that Priest still use today. They call it the Devil's Tuning Fork. This album is when Judas Priest dropped the blues and went full-on metal. We have very first track, Victim of Changes, which really was the prototype for all. Yeah, I did, Michael. I shaved on stream. You missed it if you missed it. Scott Carson, Sad Wings is a corker. Took me a while to get used to the tempos. Yeah, because he heard the Unleashed versions. Now, yeah, he's got a good point, and we'll get to that when we get to Unleashed in the East, but a lot of these songs are faster live. Victim of Changes is nearly 8 minutes long. It's the one that introduced the prototypical Halford screams. Then we have The Ripper, which opens with one of those screams. You're in for surprise. You're in for a shock. Look at that. That still needs to be shaved off. Live. This is what we do for you. Dreamer Deceiver, the epic ballady rocker thing that eventually evolves into the separate track called Deceiver, which is just pure smoke. On side 2, we've got Prelude and Tyrants, which are often presented as a pair. Prelude being a piano bit by Glenn Tipton, and Tyrant being the rocker, Tyrant. Genocide, another pure smoke rocker. Epitaph, kind of a strange piano ballad. And, of course, ending with The Island of Domination. This is when Priest hit their stride. Yes, the second album. New drummer on that album, too. I'll look at his name as soon as I shave this bit off the back of my neck that's bothering me. There we go. John Hinch was ejected from the band, and in his stead was brought in doesn't say? We're going to look it up. I thought his name was Alan Moore. Sad Wings of Destiny. The drummer's name was Alan Moore, and he too was destined to be a one-album drummer. Look at all the fucking hair. Jesus. I'm going to be finding that in my everything. Sad Wings of Destiny. Then we get into the CBS years. The third album, Sin After Sin, is the first. Dave Haslam, Les Binks, you're right. Les Binks is the fucking man. This is a beautiful box set. I got this at Encore Records when it first came out. A little dusty, of course. Judas Priest, the remasters. They did these on Sony in 2002-ish, 2001. Sin After Sin is the first of these albums. You can see they are still using the previous Judas Priest logo from Sad Wings of Destiny. Sin After Sin is produced by Roger Glover of Deep Purple. Am I right? I believe that's correct. Yep, Roger Glover of Deep Purple. Great producer in his own right, you know. On the back, only the four guys pictured. I believe Simon Phillips was a session drummer. Is that correct? Did I get that right? Simon Phillips, yeah. More of a session drummer. They hadn't got to Les Binks yet, Dave Haslam. This is a brilliant album. Possibly the equal to Sad Wings of Destiny, though I would give my thumbs up to Sad Wings of Destiny, personally speaking. That's a personal thing. Slayer ended up covering Dissident Aggressor on this album, so I think we know where... oh, Scott Carson has this box set. That's awesome. I think we know where Slayer stands. Opening up with Sinner, which in live version ends up being like a KK Downing showcase for his guitar solo. We'll get to that when we get to the live album. We have the Joan Baez cover, Diamonds and Rust. This is the second version of Diamonds and Rust. There's another version, which I'll talk about in a moment. Starbreaker, which was a little bit of like a pop metal, maybe? And Dave Haslam says Simon Phillips is by far the best drummer they ever had, and he is, technically speaking, he's brilliant, above and beyond everybody else. Scott Carson agrees that Sad Wings is better, but only just. Yep, that's fair. Last Rose of Summer, kind of a ballady thing. The Last Rose of Summer gives Rob Halford a chance to use a different side of his voice. Then we have Let Us Pray, Call for the Priest, which is just a smoking thrash prototype. Raw deal. Kind of gets you into the groove. There's a lot of references on Raw Deal to Rob Halford's gay lifestyle, actually. There's a reference there to Fire Island in New York, which is a well-known, we're just going to close the blinds a little bit, which is well-known for the gay scene. Here Come the Tears, a gothic dirge and ending with Dissonant Aggressor and one of those Halford screams that's unmistakable. That's why Slayer covered it. This reissue has 2 bonus tracks, Race with the Devil, which is a cover. Can't remember by whom. You'll have to go to my website and read my review. And Jawbreaker Live, which was from 1984 at least, and doesn't belong anywhere on this CD. But there it is anyway, because record companies. Dave Haslam says, you're a prototype. And now, just for Dave Haslam, the debut of Les Binks on drums, Stained Class. And you know what? I should point out, when I bought this box set, it came packed with the first 4 CBS albums. And if you can see, they're shimmery. You see the logo? The regular retail versions of these CDs don't have the silverized logo. They're just plain white. Stained Class, for some reason, when I was growing up, was the rarest of all of the Judas Priest albums. I didn't even know it existed until later on. Picture of the band on the back there. You see Rob Halford snazzily dressed, Glenn Tipton there with a tie, and Les Binks, the curly hair and beard. Dave Haslam is taking Meat's role right now. Basically, he's being the heckler. That's fine, you fucking asshole. Stained Class will always go down in history as the controversial Priest album. It's the one that has Better By You, Better By Me, which is a cover. It's famous because a kid tried to commit suicide and then blamed it on that song. He said there was something in the song, hidden of course, that told him to commit suicide. Now, I don't know about you, but I've listened to this album lots of times, and I never heard that message. Scott Carson, do all the CDs in your set have the foil logos? The first 4 do. It came with the first 4. It didn't come with any of the others, just the first 4. Better By You, Better By Me went to court. The prosecutors said, or whatever, the plaintiffs claimed that there's a subliminal message in the song that says, do it. And by do it, we're supposed to automatically know that that means kill yourself with a gun by putting the barrel in your mouth. I think that's a little ridiculous, and so did the judge, and Priest won that court case. Brilliant album, though. Stigma aside, you have Exciter, one of those prototypical smoking Priest songs. White Heat, Red Hot, pretty smoking hot as well. Better By You, Better Than Me, which is more of a mid-tempo dirge. Stained Class itself, harder than fuck. Invader, pure smoking metal. Saints in Hell, pure smoking metal. Savage, pure smoking metal. Beyond the Realms of Death, which is the song that they say is Judas Priest's Stairway to Heaven. Kind of an interesting comparison. It is their ballad. It is their epic ballad. Hard to compare it to Stairway to Heaven, but you kind of get where people are coming from when they say that. And then at the end, Hero's End, asking the question, why'd I have to die to be a hero? 2 bonus tracks, Fire Burns Below, which is from the Turbo Ram It Down sessions, and Better By You, Better By Me live, which they don't tell you when those live versions were recorded, which is unfortunate. I am going to jump to another album here, because it came out around this time in the chronology. The Best of Judas Priest. This was a Gull Records production. It has a bunch of songs from the first 2 albums, and it has an alternate version of Diamonds and Rust. In the photograph on the back, I believe that is a version of Judas Priest including John Hinch, and then they stuck Alan Moore's photo kind of just in the middle of the corner here. That's pretty shoddy, wouldn't you say? It's just that's so stupid. That is so fucking bad. The head's just floating there. Hey, Alan, how you? Nice that you dropped in here. So this has the alternate version of Diamonds and Rust. And this particular CD has a huge, like 20-minute interview with John Hinch, which the rest of the band hated because they're like, well, what the fuck does he know? He was in the band for like 10 minutes. Who is he to talk about the band? I don't know. I guess he just answered the phone when they called looking for interviewees. The best of Judas Priest. Track listing is Dying to Meet You, Never Satisfied, Rock-a-Rolla, Diamonds and Rust, alternate version, Victim of Changes, Island of Domination, The Ripper, and Deceiver. Moving on. The legendary live album. No! No, I jumped ahead there. No, that's not the legendary live album. It is a legendary album. This is the UK edition called Killing Machine. Ooh, in the UK, the retail versions all had the foil logo. Shit. Well, fuck. I didn't know that, Scott. That's cool. I didn't know that. Killing Machine, known as Hellbent for Leather in the North American market. Track listing: Delivering the Goods, Rock Forever, Evening Star, Hellbent for Leather, Take on the World, Burnin' Up, The Green Manalishi with the two-pronged crown, Killing Machine, Running Wild, Before the Dawn, and You Give Me Evil Fantasies. This is a fucking brilliant album. Not a weak track. 10 out of 10. Equivalent in quality as an album to Sad Wings of Destiny, but not necessarily the same kind of metal. This is moving more slightly into the mainstream, a little bit more 4/4 rock, where Sad Wings of Destiny was just all over the board, balls to the wall, try anything. There's stuff on there that sounds like Sabbath. There's stuff on there that sounds like Queen. This is a little bit more hard rock, although there's still plenty of metal. The title track, when I say title track, I mean Hellbent for Leather. Killing Machine's pretty great too. Two bonus tracks, Fight for Your Life, which I believe is a demo from 1984, and Riding on the Wind, which is live from way later on. These fucking bonus tracks. Mike Kudus is name dropping some of his favorite tracks: Never Satisfied, Dreamer, Deceiver, Delivering the Goods. Scott Carson says 11 out of 10 for my cover of Evil Fantasies. Come on and get it inside your mind. Come on and give me fantasies. I can still see a few hairs straggling, and it's kind of bugging me. So, we'll just do a little tidy up here before we jump to the major live album, because next in the discography is a major live album, one of the most important in the history of the entire genre. I'm talking Unleashed in the fucking East. This version includes all of the Japanese bonus tracks, of which there were 4. Track list: Exciter, Runnin' Wild, Sinner with KK Downing guitar solo, Green Manalishi with the two-pronged crown, Diamonds and Rust, an epic live version, Victim of Changes, maybe the definitive version, Genocide, and Tyrant, leaning heavily on Sad Wings of Destiny here. Now, like Scott Carson was saying earlier, I think I got most of the stragglers here, by the way. As Scott Carson was saying earlier, the tempos are a little screwy. They tended to play these songs faster live, and that's what you get here. This is the first album produced by Tom Alam. I believe that is correct. And Priest shifted directions. More mainstream, more by the numbers after this one. Let's go there next. No, let's not. Because there's another album to talk about before we go there. That would be Hero Hero on Gull. Hey, Tyler. Hero Hero on Gull Records. You know, I am still seeing a little bit in the light there. I'm seeing a little bit. Yeah. Let's get rid of that. That's better. Priest were getting pretty fed up with Gull Records doing all these different reissues and whatnot, different compilations. But Hero Hero is worth buying because it contains a completely different mix of the entire Rock-a-Rolla album. I am not 100% sure why they remixed the entire Rock-a-Rolla album for this compilation, but they did. The differences are very noticeable on some tracks and not really noticeable at all on others. Set list is Dreamer Deceiver, Winter, Deep Freeze, Winter Retreat, and Cheater, those last 4 tracks being the Winter Suite. Diamonds and Rust, Run of the Mill, Genocide, Caviar and Meths, Prelude, Tyrant, Rock-a-Rolla, One for the Road, Victim of Changes, Dying to Meet You, and Never Satisfied. So, Rock-a-Rolla is not presented in sequence here, but it is complete. We move on into the 80s, but we're not going to look at that one. Shit, where's the one we were going to look at? Thought I had it here. I might have screwed this up. Okay, I have the Deluxe British Steel somewhere else in the house. I would have rather shown you the Deluxe British Steel. We'll just look at the regular British Steel. This is their landmark album. It's the one that put them on the mainstream map with Living After Midnight, Metal Gods, Breaking the Law. But it has a lot of other important album tracks. Rapid Fire, Grinder, United, which is sort of an anthem, a live anthem, you can picture it. The Rage, and Steeler. Now, I found this to be the start of, I don't want to say a decline, but it's definitely the beginning of a simpler Judas Priest. They were making things a little bit easier to swallow for the kids out there. A lot of 4/4 time on this record. It's the first album with Dave Holland, who is the worst drummer they've ever had. No questions there. And there's no denying its importance. There's no denying its success. There's no denying the great tracks that are on here. But I don't think that this album is the definitive Priest in any way, shape, or form. I don't think it's even close. I actually like Point of Entry better. Go figure. I don't remember in what order specifically I got these albums, but I might have got Point of Entry before British Steel. Doesn't matter in particular. I always liked Point of Entry's album cover. That's actually printer paper, just rolled off to the horizon. There's an alternate cover for this as well. I believe that's the UK cover. Maybe Scott Carson can confirm that. There are the boys rocking out. Point of Entry went even further into sort of like the mainstream rock genre. And I was fine with that. I liked a lot of the songs on this better than the songs on British Steel. We got Heading Out to the Highway. We have Don't Go. We have Hot Rockin'. We have Turning Circles. And most importantly, we got Desert Plains. Now that song has a pulse, my friends. That song has a pulse. A serious pulse. Listen to it. The way that Ian Hill's bass is syncopated with Dave Holland's shitty drumming, it's actually quite nice to listen to. And Dave Haslam says this is one of his least favorites by Priest. So keep that in mind. Heavy metal sauna fuckery. Yeah, that's true. The Hot Rockin' video had the guys in a sauna for no fucking good reason. And they're wearing jeans as they're working out in the gymnasium. I don't know why. And Scott Carson confirms that that alternate cover was the UK version. Side 2 had Solar Angels. You say yes, I said no, 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 no. All the Way, Troubleshooter, and On the Run. Very much a more pop, mainstream, radio rock album. And Dave Haslam says he wants to go. He wants to go. He wants to go. Hot rockin'. Refuel. Now, I am going to show you a deluxe version of the next album. Here we go. Screaming for Vengeance, that is. Screaming for Vengeance. This is the deluxe version with the bonus DVD. This is the original cover art. Compare and contrast. You can see for yourself. This is my first Priest album. I got it Easter holiday, 1986. So 34 years ago, possibly 34 years ago around today, I got this album, and I didn't like it. I thought it was too shrill, too harsh, too heavy. And Dave Haslam is jealous of my Tim Hortons peach juice. I really did not like this album the first time I listened to it, and I offered to give it to my neighbor George. I see a hair. I see a hair. You see that? I think I got it. But over the years, this became a personal favorite. Actually, it was by the summer of '86, it had really become a personal favorite. Didn't take long, maybe 6 months. You know, I might have got this for Easter of '85, now that I'm thinking about it. Might have been Easter of '85. One of those 2 years. The Hellion, Electric Eye, Riding on the Wind, Bloodstone, Take These Chains, Pain and Pleasure, Screaming for Vengeance, You Got Another Thing Coming, Fever, and Devil's Child. Brilliant album. This one here has 5 live bonus tracks, plus Prisoner of Your Eyes, a ballad demo from the Turbo Ram It Down sessions, and an entire live DVD. See if I can quickly figure out for you what the show is that they included. There we go. Live at the US Festival, 1983, 29 May. Audio mixed by Tom Alum. So that is the version of Screaming for Vengeance to get. You know, there's all these fucking people that are going to pay $40 for a vinyl reissue. Don't. You're not going to get the bonus DVD. You're not going to get the 5 bonus tracks on the CD or Prisoner in Your Eyes. So don't buy this on a fucking $40 reissue vinyl. Go ahead and buy an original vinyl, but don't spend $40 on a fucking reissue. This one was huge when I was growing up. I think this is... something's wrong here. Hang on. There we go. This one was huge when I was growing up. My first rock t-shirt was probably my Judas Priest Defenders of the Faith shirt. This is the deluxe edition. Here's the original cover art right here. Starting with Screaming for Vengeance, they had a consistent cover art style. This highly stylized anime-looking beastie thing. These are great reissues. This one has 2 bonus tracks that are not on this one, which has an entire double live album. So what do you buy? Well, both, obviously. This one here has the bonus tracks Turn On Your Light and a live version of Heavy Duty / Defenders of the Faith. This one here has an entire live show from May 5, 1984 during the Defenders tour, a 2-CD set. The 2 singles here were Free Wheel Burning and Love Bites. Free Wheel Burning was like a thrash. It was like a almost thrash, pseudo thrash. It wasn't full on thrash, because when Dave Holland is your drummer, you're not really a thrash band. So pseudo thrash, Free Wheel Burning, but a massive hit for me. And Love Bites was more of a dirge. Track listing: Free Will Burning, Jawbreaker, Rock Hard Ride Free, The Sentinel, Love Bites, Eats Me Alive, Some Heads Are Gonna Roll, and When the Night Comes Down, Heavy Duty, and Defenders of the Faith. This is a great version to get, but you also need the other version so you can get the 2 bonus tracks that aren't on that version. You see how they get you? That's how they get you. They got me. Okay. Now we all know where Priest went next. And it looks like that's another deluxe edition that I've neglected to get ready for this session. But there is a deluxe edition of this next album too. And that deluxe edition features a double live, and it's worth getting. This deluxe edition features 2 bonus tracks that aren't on the double live. All fired up and locked in, live version. The most controversial Priest album of all time? Yeah, I think so. We're going to get to another controversial album in a little bit, but this one is the one that really pissed some people off. It's not keyboards, it's synthesizer. What you are hearing on this album is not keyboards, it is synthesizer. And it's all played on guitar by Glenn and KK, but the end result is something that sounded very commercial. And it would be wrong to say that all fans embraced this. But Priest did get some big hits. Turbo Lover being a massive hit. Parental Guidance being a pretty big hit. The track listing here is Turbo Lover, Locked In, Private Property, Parental Guidance, Rock You All Around the World, Out in the Cold, Wild Night, Hot and Crazy Days, Hot for Love, and Reckless. I believe they ended up playing 6 of these songs live regularly. Dave Haslam, so shitty compared to the guitar synth of Somewhere in Time and Seventh Son. I don't know if I agree with you there. They're very different styles of metal. This one might not even be considered metal. I don't want to say it's shittier. I think they're about equal, personally speaking, but hey, to each their own. Dave is not my Turbo Lover, clearly. Moving on. Another controversial release, Priest Live. This is the reissue that has the entire full concert, plus bonus tracks Screaming for Vengeance, Rock Hard, Ride Free, and Hellbent for Leather, produced by Tom Alam, released in '87. Compared to the earlier Unleashed in the East, this is... But this was my introduction to so many of these songs. This... Chris Sarr, yes, I did wear a Judas Priest t-shirt to a Catholic grade school. You know the story. You've read the story. I tagged you on the story. This here is mushy. It's very mushy. You can tell that they spent a lot of time redoing things in the studio afterwards. You can tell that they really overdid it in the mix. It's not very sharp. It's very dead. But it was my introduction to most of the old Priest songs. When I got this album in '87, I only owned at that point Screaming, Defenders, and Turbo. That was it. So this was my introduction to everything from British Steel and the other one, Point of Entry. Track listing: Out in the Cold, Heading Out to the Highway, Metal Gods, Breaking the Law, Love Bites, Some Heads Are Gonna Roll, The Sentinel, Private Property, Rock You All Around the World, Electric Eye, Turbo Lover, Free Will Burning, Parental Guidance, Living After Midnight, and you got another thing coming. And then Priest. Good. Okay. We're just having some trouble with the connection here. This is where Priest lost the plot completely. It is the final album produced by Tom Alam. It is the final album with Dave Shitty Holland on drums. It was Priest's attempt to get heavy again, and in a sense they did get heavy again, but not in a genuine kind of way. It seemed very contrived. It seemed very Turbo Junior. Track listing: Ram It Down, which was a fucking corker. Heavy Metal, Whoa, Love Zone. Come and Get It, Hard as Iron, which is a corker. Blood Red Skies, which is more progressive, quite genius actually. I'm a Rocker, Johnny Be Good, Love You to Death, and Monsters of Rock. The 2 bonus tracks are Live, Bloodstone, and Night Comes Down, from whatever tour, they don't tell you, record companies. Johnny Be Good was a fiasco. It's really bizarre. It really probably should never have been recorded, but they did, and here it is. It was done for a movie starring Anthony Michael Hall, also called Johnny Be Good. This is now we're talking. That's where it's at. This is when Priest finally got their balls back. This is when the lawsuit had happened. The one that I mentioned earlier, over Better By You, Better Than Me, otherwise known as the Suicide Song. And Priest were pissed, and they were also free of the shackles of Tom Alam and free of the shackles of Dave Holland. They got a guy by the name of Scott Travis, who is still their drummer today, 30 years later, their longest serving drummer. And he can do things that Dave Holland couldn't have done in his own dreams. The double bass really kicked in here. The title track is legendary. It has one of the most legendary Halford screams on it. Track listing is Painkiller, Hell Patrol, All Guns Blazing, Leather Rebel, Here Comes the Metal Meltdown, Nightcrawler, Between the Hammer and the Anvil, A Touch of Evil, Battle Hymn, One Shot at Glory, and then we have the bonus tracks Livin' Bad Dreams, a demo, and Leather Rebel, a live track. This is where Priest got their balls back. This is where they decided they weren't fucking around anymore. Dave Haslam says it's very lame that they even played Love Bites live. What's the point? Fuck you. Johnny Be Good, lol, fuck off. There we go. I know not everybody agrees with me, but this is an album that I believe still stands up today. And I was really, really happy with it when it came out. Priest had finally gone back to the heavy that I hoped they would eventually do. And as we're done with this box set, I'm just going to briefly show you the booklet. Goes in here. And here's the booklet from the Judas Priest Remasters box set. It's a little bit bigger than a CD book, because it doesn't have to fit in a CD case. It's mostly pictures, not a lot of text. Hard to find this complete, though. Scott Carson's a lucky son of a gun, I'll tell you that. Scott Carson says Painkiller, some great tracks on it, but there's a lot of songs on it that don't do much for him. And I get that. I get it. But coming up, we have an album with even fewer good songs on it. But first, the ridiculousness. At a gig in Toronto called Rock and Roll, Operation Rock and Roll, it was called. Rob Halford rode out on stage, riding his motorcycle as he usually did, hit a beam, a lighting beam, as he was riding his motorcycle and knocked himself out cold. For the first time in history, Judas Priest performed Hellbent for Leather as an instrumental. Rob Halford was woken up with some smelling salts. He finished the show and never saw his bandmates again. until the Priest reunion in 2000. Why? Rob and the band had agreed to take some time off, and Rob was determined to work on a solo project. He'd been very inspired by some of the new metal bands, guys like Suicidal Tendencies and especially Pantera. Priest said, okay, that's cool. We're going to release a greatest hits album while you work on your solo stuff. They were even talking about recording a couple of new songs for the greatest hits album. But things became distant, and eventually Rob Halford told Priest via fax that he was quitting the band. There was some kind of issue over management. Priest, without a singer and also without a drummer, because Scott Travis went with him on this solo project called Fight. Priest, the remaining 3 members, put out Metalworks 73 to 93, which is a misnomer because the first album came out in 74. And Priest formed in like 70, 71. So this doesn't make any sense as far as the dates given. But it's a decent listen. There was nothing rare on here. There was nothing unreleased on here. It was just a package to sell, to keep Priest on the racks. I won't go over the track listing. It's 2 CDs worth of tracks here, all from the CBS Sony years. Nothing from Sad Wings, nothing from Rock-A-Rolla. Those rights are still with Gull. But it's a decent listen. Looks like we got 17 tracks on disc 1 and 15 tracks on disc 2. Good value for the money at the time, but nothing new. Nothing that you needed to complete your collection. The only thing you really needed to complete your collection is the Mark Wilkinson artwork, which has little cues from different Priest albums throughout history. You can see the main feature of it is the eagle from Screaming for Vengeance doing battle with the Painkiller. Kind of neat. And in the background you see the actual metal works of Birmingham, where Priest are from, the metal foundries. Pretty cool. So Priest were without a singer, and the singer was without a Priest. We won't get into Rob Halford's solo career here, but we will carry on with what Judas Priest did next, whether you like it or not. Because what do? Rob Halford quit your band. What do you do? You call in a ringer. That ringer was Ripper Owens. They found him in a Priest tribute band. Sound familiar? They stole the plot of the movie Rock Star from basically this guy's life story. Tribute singer becomes the real deal. And although this era of Priest was not well received at the time, a lot of people look back on Ripper very fondly, because let's face it, the guy does have a great voice. He was able to do certain screams that Rob Halford at the time was incapable of doing. But the songs, they're not there. Jugulator. Jugulator. It's not even a word. At least Painkiller was a word. Ripper didn't own a Batmobile, though. Ripper, I don't know that, Scott. That's an allegation that I can't answer. Jugulator is not even a word, but there is their new mascot replacing the Painkiller, called the Jugulator. The new Judas Priest logo replacing the old Devil's tuning fork and the new font for Judas Priest. I believe this artwork was still by Mark Wilkinson, though. They went too much new metal, too much grindy shit, too much sound-alike shit, and horrific lyrics. Horrific lyrics. These lyrics are so bad. I'm not even joking about the lyrics. They are fucking shit. Haha, it was a reference to Rockstar. The singer in it bought a Batmobile. Okay, I get you. I get you, Scott. That's right, he did. There's that new Priest tuning fork logo on the back. Track listing. Wait till you get a load of these song titles. Jugulator. Bloodstained, Dead Meat, which is not a song about Uncle Meat. He's very. I see some hair. I'm gonna have to go over that spot again. Death Row, Decapitate, Burn in Hell, Brain Dead, Abductors, Bullet Train, and Cathedral Spires. Cathedral Spires is a good song. A little on the long side, but it's a good track. I gotta get this one spot that's bugging me here. Come on. Drop my glasses. Oh shit. We're hooked on a cable. We're hooked. There we go. Jugulator. Scott Carson, Jugulator was shite. So disappointed when I bought that, and they fucked up the cover too. Yeah, it's all digitizy. You can't see that. But it is. They put out a Japanese single for Bullet Train, which had some re-recordings of two Priest classics. They are Rapid Fire and The Green Manalishi with a two-pronged crown. But they slowed down Green Manalishi. They made it more new, grindy. It was so unnecessary, and I wish they hadn't done that. I wish they'd done just a straight tempo cover of Green Manalishi, but they did not. Still kind of a cool single, though. They also released a live album called 98 Meltdown. It's weird because in the 90s, people started adding, like, the year on their album titles. 98 Live Meltdown. I believe Warrant had an album called, like, Warrant 96 or something like that. Weird. I don't know why bands did that. It was dumb. I hated it then, and I hate it now. I always felt the guitars were mixed too low on this album. I think it's a good live album, though. I very much enjoy listening to this. The set list is phenomenal. The Hellion, Electric Eye, Metal Gods, Grinda, Rapid Fire, Bloodstained, which is the definitive version of Bloodstained from Jugulator. The Sentinel, Touch of Evil, Burn in Hell, The Ripper, Bullet Train, Beyond the Realms of Death, Death Row, two songs with death in the title in a row there. That's kind of dumb. Metal Meltdown, Nightcrawler, Abductors, which is a shit song. Victim of Changes, Diamonds and Rust, Breaking the Law, Green Manalishi with the two-pronged crown, Painkiller, You Got Another Thing Coming, Hellbent for Leather, and Living After Midnight. Priest were not going to give in. They were going to continue. And so they did a second album with Ripper Owens, this one called Demolition. And I do say, I think they lost the plot one more time. I really do. They went, fuck, what did they do here? A little bit more technical, more modern and technical, more 2000s. I didn't like this. I really didn't like this. There's a few good songs on it. The cover artwork is shite. On Live Meltdown, do they do the folksy cover of Diamonds and Rust? I believe it's the folksy cover. Let's find out, actually. I'll answer that definitively. Just got to get my music folder up. Judas Priest. I'll be able to play enough of the track to answer your question. Diamonds and Rust is on disc 2. We're gonna bring one back. Yeah. Sounds like they're playing electric guitars, but yeah, this soft version of Diamonds and Rust. Demolition was dog shit, says Scott Carson. I guess that's the best way I can put it. Track listing were including Machine Man, One on One, Hell is Home, Jekyll and Hyde, Close to You, a ballad, a decent one, Devil Digger, I remember liking that song, Bloodsuckers, In Between, not a good song, Feed on Me, which I believe was a single, Subterfuge, one of the few songs with a Scott Travis writing credit, Lost and Found, another ballad, decent one, Cyberface, which is shit, that might be the one with the Scott Travis writing credit, Metal Messiah, and Japanese bonus track, What's My Name? Because that's what Ripper used to say live before opening his song. Well, not his song, opening the song, The Ripper. He'd ask the audience, "What's my name?" And they'd answer, "Ripper." Live in London followed. This was one of the first music DVDs that I actually bought. But we'll just be looking at the CD, the dusty, dusty CD here. Had this neat silver foil outer slipcase. Live in London. This was, you know, the era when bands were starting to do 2 live albums in rapid succession. Double live albums. And it was getting to be a bit much. But at least they added some songs to this one that they weren't playing live on the previous tour, such as Turbo Lover. The tracks include Metal Gods, Heading Out to the Highway, Grinder, A Touch of Evil, Bloodstained, Victim of Changes, The Sentinel, One on One, new song, Running Wild, which I don't believe they were playing live on the previous tour, Diamonds and Rust, Feed on Me, Green Manalishi, Beyond the Realm of Death, Burn in Hell, Hell is Home, new song, Breaking the Law, Desert Plains, which I don't think they were playing on the last one. You got Another Thing Coming, Turbo Lover, Painkiller, The Hellion, Electric Eye, United, which they definitely were not playing on the previous one, Living After Midnight, and Hellbent for Leather. Not a bad album, but man, do you need both? Do you need 2 double live Priest albums with Ripper Owens in rapid succession? I'm not sure the answer to that question. I think the world, pardon me, I think the world could have lived with only 1 live Ripper Owens album, but there's 2. At this point, Priest reconvened with Rob Halford behind the scenes, consulting on a box set. That box set is called Metallurgy. And the version I have has 5 discs. Here's Metallurgy. It's this odd size for a box set. It might be about the size of a 7-inch single. Some artwork inside the top cover, which has these plastic studs. These plastic studs have weathered a lot over the years. They're kind of tarnished. This was the piece of paper on the back cover, the track list, the booklet, good size booklet, four CDs and a bonus DVD. The bonus DVD is the Judas Priest live video from 1982. That's what this DVD is. It's from the Screaming for Vengeance tour. The actual box set here has tracks from the entire history of Priest, including the first 2 albums on Gull. I'm not sure how that was worked out, but this is on the Sony Legacy label, and they tend to license things. There's a lot of tracks here that are the first time on CD, including live stuff, but most importantly, this had the song Heart of a Lion, which was covered by a band called Racer X, I believe, Scott Travis's old band. It's a fantastic track from the Turbo era, and this is the only place you can get it, is on the Metallurgy box set. Worth buying this box set just to get Heart of a Lion. It is a fantabulous song from the anthemic era of Judas Priest. It's Chris Sarr, how many albums did they have? Man, I don't know. You should be counting, not me. This box set enabled Judas Priest to bury the hatchet with Rob Halford. Before you know it, they were reunited. And there's the album that resulted. The first with Rob Halford and Scott Travis back in the band since Painkiller. This is Angel of Retribution, 2005. A 15-year gap. Little insert. This album tends to span styles from all over the Priest catalog. The single Revolution was a little bit more psychedelic, very much reminded me of the Killing Machine album. Other stuff like Judas Rising more reminded me of Painkiller era. Stuff like Loch Ness was total shit and reminded me of Ram It Down. The track listing: Judas Rising, brilliant song. Deal with the Devil, Revolution, Worth Fighting For, a mid-tempo ballady track. Demonizer, Wheels of Fire, Angel, Hell Rider, Eulogy, and Loch Ness. This was a worthy comeback for Judas Priest. Not their greatest album, but it's 75% of the way there. Dave Haslam says, pretty sure Loch Ness is about Rob Halford's wiener. You might be right. You might be right. But a worthy reunion. It was a good start. Let's see what happened next. Did they do a live album next? Looks like they did. Yeah, they did a live album next. Because why not? Why the fuck not? They did a live album called A Touch of Evil. And I believe Tom Allom may have returned to produce this, if I'm not mistaken. I have the Japanese import with bonus tracks. Worth Fighting For and Deal with the Devil Live. I also have burned on a bonus CD the Russian bonus track Angel and the iTunes bonus track Breaking the Law. It's an okay live album. I mean, it's a modern Priest. Halford's range is not where it once was, but I think you need a document of the reunited Priest, and this is one of the better ones. Judas is Rising, Hell Rider, Between the Hammer and the Anvil, Riding on the Wind, Death. Oh, I'm out of order here. Death, that's from a different... Okay, we're out of order here. I got to go back into a studio album, but we'll finish here. Beyond the Realms of Death, Dissonant Aggressor, A Touch of Evil, Eat Me Alive. That's for you, Dave. Prophecy, and Painkiller. Prophecy being another track from the second most controversial Judas Priest studio album, Nostradamus. I bought the book version. The music is identical. In 2007, 2008, Judas Priest began working on a follow-up to Angel of Retribution, and lo and behold, they decided to do not just their very first concept album, but a double concept album about Nostradamus. Your video is not frozen. I'm just processing this information. This isn't a bad looking set. Kind of impractical and hard to store. Lots of beautiful, beautifully laid out pictures and lyrics. But dude, it's a 2-disc live album, concept album about Nostradamus. And it's kind of muddy sounding. It was self-produced by Priest. Don Airey from Deep Purple did the keyboards, and there's a lot of them. You know, I really want to like this, and I can hear the ambition, and I can hear what they were going for, and I can hear what they were trying to do. And there's some good songs on here too, but there's a lot of filler. Too many concept albums have a lot of filler, and here we go with a lot of filler. Dawn of Creation, Prophecy, Awakening, Revelations, The Four Horsemen, War, Sands of Time, Pestilence and Death, Pestilence and Plague, Death, Peace, Conquest, Lost Love, Persecution, Solitude, Exiled, Alone. Alone is a great tune. Shadows in the Flame, Visions, Hope, New Beginnings, Calm Before the Storm, Nostradamus, and Future of Mankind. Nostradamus is also a good song. This is not a good album. I have probably rated it much higher than I should have in the past. But I'm looking at this and the song titles aren't even inspiring. Conquest, Peace, Death, Exiled, Alone, Visions. Derek Williamson, you missed it, buddy. You missed it. You missed it. You'll have to watch it on repeat. We're getting close to the end of the Priest catalog. That live album that I just talked about, A Touch of Evil, followed. And then KK Downing quit the band. Priest were... it was weird. They said they were going to do a farewell tour. And then it turned into not a farewell tour. It turned into, let's make another album. And KK Downing left the band. And I think it's been very unclear as to why this happened and why they haven't reunited. I believe management has played a major role in that split. But they ended up getting a new guy by the name of Richie Faulkner. And he's been basically a main linchpin of Judas Priest ever since. He's actually younger than me. And he brought a youthful energy to Priest back. And he compliments Glenn Tipton very well on the guitar. The first album with... I dropped it! The first album with Mr. Faulkner on lead guitar was Redeemer of Souls, an album I quite liked at the time, but today can't really remember a lot of the songs. Dragonaut, Redeemer of Souls, Halls of Valhalla, Sword of Damocles, March of the Damned, Down in Flames, Hell and Back, Cold-Blooded, Check It and See, Metallizer, Crossfire, Secrets of the Dead, Battle Cry, Beginning of the End. And then a 5-song bonus CD with Snakebite, Tears of Blood, Creatures, Bring It On, which I remember being a song I liked, and Never Forget. Great artwork there. I believe that's Mark Wilkinson again. That looks like the Painkiller, but a more organic version of the Painkiller. I remember liking this album, but I cannot tell you how any of those songs go. So take that as you will. KK never wanted Rob back, is from what I read, says Derek Stephen Williamson. He had to be persuaded. That's interesting. There must have been some serious bitterness going on there. Yet another live album followed. Battle Cry. This one added some different songs to the set list. I won't go over them all, just the new ones. We have Dragonaut. The intro is Battle Cry. Halls of Valhalla, Redeemer of Souls. And that's it. Those are the only new songs that have been added to the set list. Battle Cry, Dragonaut, Halls of Valhalla, and Redeemer of Souls. 15-song live album, 4 new songs, and that's it. We're getting less and less essential as you go further on into the live albums. It is what it is. And finally, we reached the end of the Judas Priest discography with Firepower. I like this album. It's grown on me since it was released in 2018. Same lineup, although at this point we learned that Glenn Tipton was suffering from Parkinson's, and although he fully participated in the album, it's not really known what participation he will have going forward. I like this album, and I think the best track for me personally today is Flamethrower, which I dissed at the time it came out. We have 15 songs, including the title track Firepower, Lightning Strike, Evil Never Dies, Never the Heroes, a killer song with a great anthemic chorus, Necromancer, Children of the Sun, Guardians, Rising from Ruins, Flamethrower, Spectre, Traitor's Gate, No Surrender, another fucking killer song, Lone Wolf, and Sea of Red. I would say, as far as the Firepower album goes, if Judas Priest were to end their career today, they've ended it on a good album. I think that that's important. thank you for joining me for joining me with the Judas Priest discography. Didn't realize it would take an hour, but that was about an hour to go through all the Judas Priest albums. Derek Williamson says, Firepower is solid. Mr. HMO made me buy it. Good call on his part. Yes, it was. Okay, so Derek, just to get you up to speed, the big surprise today was that I was having my head shaved live on camera. Jennifer was supposed to do it. She started and kind of freaked out when she realized how gross hair is when it starts flying all over the place. So I had to finish on camera live. I've been tidying myself up as I noticed bits of hair all over the place. You can go back and you can watch that on the live stream when we're done here, and I saved the stream. It was fun. There were quite a few people watching just to see what the hell was going on. We're almost out of time. I wanted to do an hour and a half. We're at about an hour and 15 minutes. The last thing that I mentioned I wanted to do today was look at some rarities. So I'm going to grab one thing. I had a bunch of stuff set aside. I'm going to grab one. We can save the other ones for another day. But I will grab one rarity that I hope you will enjoy. Derek Williamson, I will have to sleep with the light on tonight if he watches me shave my head live. At least I warned you, buddy. At least I warned you. When I bought this at Best Buy in 2005, 2004, I want to say 2005, the girl at Best Buy thanked me. She said, thank you for getting rid of this. There's no good way for me to display it on my shelves. But the design of the top, the cantilevered top, doesn't collect dust. It's a brilliant design for a box set. It's ZZ Top's Chrome, Smoke, and Barbecue. This is a brilliant box set. This is an anthology style box set for ZZ Top, including a bunch of rarities. Save you from having to seek out different singles and compilations and whatnot to complete your ZZ Top collection. One of the most interesting songs is the Rocky Erickson cover, Reverberation, which is on disc 4 here. ZZ Top's Chrome, Smoke, and Barbecue. The deluxe edition. You open up the roof, and there's all kinds of neat stuff inside. There are 4 CDs. Just put that aside there. There are 4 CDs, and there's this little animated flip book. Yes, it does have the flip book, says Scott. Scott Carson was asking. This is not going to look good, but, you know, there we go. Hang on. This is not going to look good, but there you go. You can kind of get an idea for the animation there. I believe it flips both ways. Yeah, there you go. That one looked good. Check that out. You can see them flipping their guitars. That's neat. So yeah, this is one of my favorite rarities, actually. Put the flip book back. Inside the regular book, or tucked in nearby the regular book, is this little cut and play punch card where you can cut out all the different characters from ZZ Top, little props and whatnot. You've got a picnic table here. You got some ribs. You see the ribs? You can make a little ZZ Top display with this barbecue shack being the backdrop, and you can have ZZ Top, you know, pulling up on their motorcycle like that to pick up some ribs. There's a picnic table with some barbecue on it there. I would never in a million years cut this up, but it's pretty cool. You got to admit, that's pretty cool. It's stuff like this that makes buying a deluxe box set worthwhile. The funky little extras that are so easily lost later on. The book itself for the box set is a menu. How's that? That's neat. The Moving Sidewalks, Billy Gibbons' early band there. And they have a track on this box set, in fact. Pull up the tracks here. You Make Me Shake and Joe's Blues. And oh, there's a bunch. Crimson Witch. Those are all tracks by the Moving Sidewalks, and they're included in this box set. Cool package. What albums are in it? Yeah, Scott's right. It is not an albums set. It is a compilation. It is an anthology with rarities and all kinds of neat stuff. Like I said, it's the only place you can get that Rocky Erickson cover outside of buying that Rocky Erickson tribute album. Look at that. There's a little door on the side. You need to go take a shit. There's the outhouse. The back, the bottom, I should say, you get floorboards. You can see the underside. And the back cover. There's the dumpster, pile of firewood. That's kind of cool. ZZ Top's Chrome, Smoke, and Barbecue. All of the discs inside come individually packaged in jewel cases. Most of the time when you find this box set, it is just packaged in a standard set without the funky barbecue shack, without the flip book, without the cutouts. Kevin Semister, dang, now I wish I would have gotten this. I thought it was just a compilation of the early albums. Well, it is a compilation of some of the tracks from the early albums, but there's rarities on there that's worth having too. Some live stuff. I'll have to do a full-on review one day. I listen to this box set frequently enough. It's just the kind of thing that requires a lot of detail, and that requires a lot of effort. But I'll get around to it one day. Well, we are getting close to wrapping up here. We did 90 minutes. We did 90 minutes, which was the goal. I'm still finding hair everywhere. I'm in shit with Jen for making a mess. So there's that to consider. We're in quarantine together, and we have to make the best of this, and I'm in shit. It was a lot of fun, though, wasn't it? Kevin Semister, it's only $316 on Amazon right now. Holy shit, Kevin Semister, that's too much for 4 CDs, man. That's what, like $80 a disc? The main book and the flick book slide into it. That's correct. The main book and the flick book slide into it. So, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Easter holiday. I'm going to trim everything that we missed the first time out, which I think we got most of it now. I'm going to clean up after myself, because I'm in shit. And, if I can come up with some more ideas, I'll see you again in a week. I do have more rarities I can show off that I didn't get around to today. I didn't realize that doing the Judas Priest catalog was going to take an hour. But it was fun, I hope. I hope you guys had fun with that. Hope you learned something about Judas Priest. Hope you learned something about which albums are worth owning and which are not. Don't buy Ram It Down. Don't. And buy the deluxe editions whenever you can. They're worth owning for the bonus live concerts. Turbo, Defenders of the Faith, British Steel, and Screaming for Vengeance all came with bonus discs and bonus tracks that are worth getting for the deluxe editions. In fact, British Steel came with a bonus, and that was one of the ones that I It's over in my collection somewhere else. I didn't pull out the deluxe edition when I got my discs ready today. But the British Steel Deluxe has a bonus 2 CD concert from the British Steel 30th anniversary tour. There's even an iTunes exclusive bonus track that goes with that. You've lots of options to pick up these albums. You have any questions about any of these Priest albums, you just let me know and I'll be happy to answer them. In the meantime, we are going to wrap this up. It has been a fun live stream for me. I hope it was for you. My voice is going to be shot all day tomorrow. That should make Jen happy. And, yeah, if I can come up with something fun to do next week, I will be back again with another live stream. Thank you for watching. I got some cleaning up to do now. And we will catch you on the flip side. This live stream will be available to watch from the beginning as soon as I end it and save it. And I'm kind of curious to watch it myself to see how this head shaving kind of went down, because I couldn't see what was happening quite like you could. I'm curious. So thank you for watching, and yes, Kevin, thank you for joining me. You guys have a wonderful Easter. Be safe. Stay in your homes. I'm glad if I've provided some entertainment for you this afternoon. Take care, and we'll see you again real soon.